The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and white boots. His skin is marbled. The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a slight... Oh my, there's something on the belt. A familiar word that speaks to the thirst. Vermilion, in yellow letters, along the length of the twisting cargo belt. Only a deep longing for vermilion gold.
Extremely. Industrial strength, the kind used for tying cargo to lorries.
Like in a circus, when the circus leaves town and they tie a black-spotted giraffe to the wall of a carry pen.
No, more like in harbor, like the one just east of here. I get the sense they used whatever was on hand, without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes, motivated by the ongoing strike. You?
No, you feel like it was something else. But what?
70% of the cases I get are just filling in the blanks on the initial report. This belt worries me. It's not merely polyester, it's steel reinforced. See these lines? This is where the wires run. I see rabbits for more than 20 strands. This makes getting him down much more problematic than I had assumed. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt, limbs limp and torso covered in tattoos. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. His corpse is marked by stars. Alcohol and heartbreak. Your fist clenches suddenly. Decay is creeping on the tattoo. Already, most of the canvas that's holding it has darkened. Now, it disintegrates.
A map of the stars. I do see some similarity to astronomical charts. Great Century Messinian, maybe. But this seems more particular. Customized somehow.
As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice. The principle of this filter remains unknown to you. The thought dissipates, and you feel as though you were only half right.
So am I.
He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being...
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera.
This is the first time he openly acknowledges the kid's existence.
I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
In case we need it. It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter. To us, sure. Just don't lose it.
The glassy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper. teeming with opportunity. His eyes are milky white and blind to the world, protruding comically from their sockets. There is no one home, just subaquatic terrors there. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. Underneath the curdled meat there is an expression, not carried on his features, but below, inside, an expression of pleasure. This man was experiencing joy.
I'm gone. Maybe I was getting my rocks off. Do I look like an erotic auto-asphyxiation type to you? Captain Coppadromo, I fear we are drifting away, fixating on sexuality again. Let's go with I'm a joke. Look at me. There is nothing funny about jokes either. A killer, a motherfucker, and a killer.
Takes one to know one.
Go ahead, Coppo. Into the wild pale yonder. In the past, way out in the west. What do you mean? It's the power of your imagination.
Yeah, man! Don't be crazy! Inanimate objects and dead people can't really talk to you. Your wild imagination is doing this. Ask some more of those questions you love so much.
He loves those. Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Coming right up. Copperoonie. Fuck no. You're no Rooney. No, you don't. Between you and me, your name is probably Harry. Because you have loved it, me and Brother Copo. It was love all along. Sure, Lobo. I can ask you a question. Looking at my face, motionless. Looking into my eyes. Standing here. Why are you investigating my murder? I am all you have. Then you truly lost it all, brother. Let the world drag. Do I remind you of someone? There you go. Look at that bright kid. We're birds of a feather, you and I.
Feeling nausea, vomiting, tenderness or pain around the liver area, tiny red lines on the skin above waist level.
Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself.
As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears.
How should I know why you are squinting, officer? Oh. You are trying to...
The monster comes back into focus, an explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with something. Black liquid streams down.
So, what do you think?
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet. Purge liquid is dripping into it.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion.
The fuck are you saying?
Talking about shit.
Did we? I don't feel lucky. I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquent...
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
He means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal-like.
I agree.
There are crow's feet in his eyes. He's laughing silently.
Totally dead. He is. I think he was upright immediately after death. Blood has gathered in his hands and feet, and his neck. The noose acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis here is in tune with the hanging. That's what I think. There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in...
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver filling the air and your nostrils. He slowly rotates.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver?
The cadaver slowly...
Of course. You have questions, don't you? Love did me in, Provocopo. It was love. Do I remind you of someone? No, not quite. You sure I got out of that one? Coppellini. Because you have. Love did me in, Provocopo. Sure, Lob. Looking at my face, motionless. Looking into my eye.
Something is on its way. Something hidden. It's coming. A miracle from the northwest. And
maybe I was getting my... It's a mishmash, Coppabolo. You think I'm Messinian, don't you? For you, no. My hair is too light a shade of brown. My eyebrows, too. Trust... Yeah, well, he seems to think I'm also a racist, since I have tattoos and a military... I know what this means. Maybe I was getting my... Do I look like an... Captain Coppodromo? I fear we are drifting away, fixating on sexuality. Come back later, Coppo.
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle. The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting it. Someone else? You mean like the police? Someone like a paid garbage man? Or a cleaning crew? I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And we have a growing sanitary concern here. Climb up there and... So there has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees.
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his...
How? Yes, the buckle, where it ties the cargo belt to the tree. If the shot hits that...
Yeah, now we're talking.
They'll miss! The pigs will...
the lieutenant is undecided. On one hand, he wants to shoot some gun. On the other, it's an awfully stupid idea. Silence. With his... and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches.
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding.
God damn it.
He feels bad about it. About his eyes, mostly. Just having bad eyesight.
Fucking idiot!
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he?
No, we are lucky as it is. We didn't break anything. Any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals.
Kuno's sorry too.
The lieutenant doesn't say a word.
I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance. It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Just don't...
They only have...
This is the sorriest pit.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banani poika.
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly.
The fuck are you waiting for, Coon?
Kuno is silent. Aggression gathers in the air. The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firm.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you...
This isn't mere boundary pushing. There is a true suicidal rage in the kid as she's provoking you.
Or what? You gonna fuck do it? Set me free!
You feel as though it would be dangerous to set this creature free to roam about the cosmos.
Don't.
Do it!
Intense shit, Copper.
Could waved his gun! It wasn't intense!
The lieutenant takes the gun carefully from you.
Fucking pussy didn't shoot shit, did he? Didn't shoot me. Didn't shoot himself in the mouth.
Didn't shoot me. There is sincere disappointment on her face. This kid was expecting pandemonium.
We need to access the harbor and ask the leader of the Union to have it taken down. They have the tools, and they have men.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches. It still kind of looks like a map of the stars in the night. Gone. For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will. Someone close to the victim might.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a dye? Oh, it's you again. Are you looking...
Aside from getting naked, you're not sure.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking...
A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated. For a moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere.
Didn't we already talk about this? What are you talking about? My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint...
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture. Its ruins swallowed up. Yet it has a different...
This doesn't make any sense. Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from? You're right. I should take a trip to the roof once the snow is gone. Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
Don't let her become complacent. She still needs to ward her soul against the evil forces. She starts laughing, her fingers trying to rub away the exhaustion from her face.
Do you know what this is? It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a vibe. It wasn't just a jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world. And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney? Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can try again. Still, there is something in here. It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternative ending or an entirely different world. But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. Turning the crank. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet. What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure? A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorry. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes.
He was acting tough before. This probably scared him a bit. Who?
to work! Right to work! Not before you get in there and get your ass whooped.
He might have some advice, but you got to at least try to fight Measurehead first.
Hold on, Wandering Man. How can I help you? Sorry. Busy surveying the situation. I'm sure you'll figure something out. Wiretapping, telescopic batons, futuristic circuit bending to infiltrate harbor machinery. Maybe you could even knock that Kowalson crane over using some remote controls. Or calling in tactical air support. You guys have air support, right?
Because we don't. We don't have a...
I get it. Hush hush about this.
Something changes in his disposition.
All right, I may have some advice for you on how to deal with Jean-Luc there, out of solidarity. First, don't fight him, obviously. Second, get him to share his theory by being subordinate. Admit your lack of expertise. Basically grovel.
Maybe that.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Just like that, instinct took over. A solid strike straight into his throat, into the cartilage. You could the man is reeling, gasping for air. Time stands still around you. In the distance, the sounds of the harbor off. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip. He's open. Rip into him. Right hook. Escalate it. Get intimate with him. Don't wait. You've only got a millisecond. He's coming too. Time is breaking loose from that fighting pose. Watch out. He's expecting the hook. The man lands with a dull thump, like a broken down puppet of muscles and sinew. For a moment, he still tries to keep his head up, dazed eyes looking at you with unimaginable surprise. To your left is the button. As you slam your fist on the button, the man collapses entirely, his head rolling to the side.
Looks like you're the new Measurehead now.
Her voice is surprisingly calm.
No one is the new Measurehead. Let's go before he gets up.
The man is still. It'll take a few moments.
Yes? What do you want to know? What's there to say? It's the cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here. And now it's come to its natural conclusion. Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other words. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the contrary.
A good joke.
He does not actually think it was a good joke.
It's good we said this thing. Was there anything else you wanted to ask about the competition? If not, we should move. Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this.
A tremble comes over you. Another after effect of ethanol poisoning, perhaps. Feels like leaves do when they rustle in the breeze, somewhere far away, below the turbine. The 41st and the 57th. The lieutenant...
Yes. I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter.
He's actually glad it's addressed now.
Yes?
Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to slight Precinct 57. Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late and argues with his
I've considered it. It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional. But I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's as old as my station. And all this time we can't decide who gets Martinez? I think, yes, both stations would prefer a win. I am the finest of nothing. Safe? No. But you're old. You've made it this far. Something has brought you through. We've only... So no, I don't think they sent you as a joke. And even if they did, they are in for a surprise.
He's right. There are no airtight theories. Just paranoia. You've given it some thought. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. 2 kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Cool. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. how unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. You're like an absurdist Samaran monk. On second glance, let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens, hundreds, and the same. It's hard to make sense of this thick. Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. It appears to be a to-do list written in Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have...
What is so special about this borscht? Code for drugs? Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed. The drawer slides.
Yes?
The file cabinet stands steady as ever. The drawer slides. Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here. The white rectangle of the... This is your cloak. You can feel it.
Yes. It does bear the Elysium insignia. And the service cloak issued to you by your station? Yes.
As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost... I will shield you from the elements and give my life for yours. Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really hard. Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red, and almost 4 packs of cigarettes.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. Yes, this looks pretty advanced, all right. For now...
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, Rene.
If you must. But please hurry, we are...
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are... It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, Rene, is dressed and Rene looks like he's about to smile. This photo must be tied to some good...
Why did you take that picture of René? Fine, but let's move. I don't want to...
rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marsh, Marsh. On with a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. And, with a surprisingly quiet, this crane was built with a purpose, which has now been fulfilled. Who can say?
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
Before you stands a car.
Is this like your thing with that wall again? You do? Because there are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? It's a cargo container, Detective. We're not here to interact with
You attempt to turn the handle. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions. With some puzzle, no reply. Despite the dirt that surrounds and trails you, a beacon of light emerges from deep within you. The door stands silent.
Satisfied, Detective?
Try again. Just like that, you hear a click, then a rattle. Some mechanism unlocks itself.
Ahoy! Come on in!
You can't be serious.
Stands at the far end of the shipping container. It's hard to say anything more about him. You cannot make out any of his details. The feeling causes all the hairs on your body to stand at attention, like something's amiss. The light beams bend around his face and scatter in 1,000 directions. It seems the Lord, trying to visualize the physics at play, is liable in the general stillness. Only your...
Welcome! Come in, make yourself at home. Sorry, I'm not better.
You can't hear him exactly, yet you're able to understand every word.
Now, what can I do for you, gentlemen? Who am I? Oh, I haven't been asked that question anyhow. My name is Rustam Theodore, investor.
Mr. Theodore, I am Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi of the RCM, and this is my partner,
pleasure to meet you. Though I'm sorry to hear that a good public servant like yourself is enthralled to the drink. A man can't serve two masters, in my experience.
Oh Lord, not this again. Oh, nothing. It's just that we've got this murder to solve, and yet you go around asking everyone about money. And every time I ask, are you sure this is related to the case, you say, sure, Kim, I think it is. And yet, it never seems to get us any clue.
It's quite alright. I'm used to the question by now. To be blunt, I inherited my... All I did was take her fortune and invested prudently. Believe it or not, it takes more than a...
And blow.
I gotta tell you, at first, being rich is a lot of work. You've got to work, but then, once you've reached my position, it's nearly impossible for me not to. Some of my lower net worth friends say to me, but doesn't that take all the fun out of it? And I tell them, not really. Sure, and they benefit when I buy things to stimulate the economy. Do you know how many jobs it takes to build? And dozens, at least. Of course, in the future, it'll all be ultimate. Every man gets what he earns. Capital makes one speechless, does it not? Blinds like the...
Hey, all this talk about money has made you lose the thread. What is going on with the light in this place? That's what you need.
Traveling. This is a great way to get around. It's fun, it's safe. By the way, let me now ask you a question. Where are we exactly? Oh, interesting. I've made quite a few real estate places. It's a shame I can't get out and explore myself. One of the downsides of being an extremely high net, there simply aren't enough hours a day to hand out all the handouts. It's like feeding seagulls. They're all spending money is a matter of desire. I'm sure you agree. I don't have the smart, you know? It also provides a means to hide from all the targeted luxury yachts, high-fidelity portable radio systems, fail-proof outerwear, and so on. What? No, I did not say that at all. Being rich is great.
Could you please stop asking everyone for money? It does not reflect well on the RCM, and to be perfectly frank, we can't afford to look worse.
It's perfectly alright. Based on your appearance, I can tell, as you may know, us high net worth individuals do not have a lot of cash on hand. Here is 3 real. How much can you get for this? You're welcome. You know, maybe you can make that money grow. Come up with...
These ultra-liberal types love losing huge sums of money on ludicrous proposals. Ergo, you should come up with a plan that's totally dead in the water.
Thanks for stopping.